On her bow are the dove of peace with olive branch, never leaving doubt as to her non-violent mission. All around the hull are the striking colours of the rainbow. In 1985, New Zealand was basking the position as leader of the anti-nuclear movement. As a country, we had clearly punched above our weight. Then, just before midnight on the 10th of July, our government decided to respond to peaceful protest with deadly force. The two explosions ripped through the hull of the Greenpeace flagship Rainbow Warrior, which was moored at Marsden Wharf in Auckland. A Portuguese crew member, Fernando Pereira, was killed in the explosion. The Rainbow Warrior had been involved in protests over the French testing of nuclear weapons in the Pacific. Mururoa Atoll was one specific location. The act was referred to as state terrorism, so in an attempt to neutralise the ship ahead of the planned protest, French secret agents in diving gear attached 2 packets of plastic-wrapped explosives called limpet bombs, one at the propeller and one at the outer wall by the engine room. Initially, France denied all knowledge of this operation, then called Operation Titanic, but it soon became obvious that they were involved. But our disbelief and anger alone wasn't going to be enough to breach the wall of denials, lies and obstruction hastily being erected in the French capital. Eventually, Prime Minister Laurent Fabrice appeared on TV and told the shocked public agents of the DSGE, French Secret Service, sank the boat. They acted on orders. Prime Minister David Lange called it a sordid act of international state-backed terrorism. Sir Geoffrey Palmer called it an act of war and the end of innocence of the unprecedented violation of New Zealand. Only 2 agents stood trial for this crime, Dominique Pereira and Alain Moffat, who had posed as Swiss tourists. They pleaded guilty to manslaughter and willful damage. These brought sentences of 10 years and 7 years. A United Nations negotiated a settlement which meant that they were transferred to Hao Atoll, a French military base in French Polynesia. They both served less than 2 years, went home to France and were decorated. The spy who infiltrated the Greenpeace office ahead of the bombing, Christine Caban, evaded capture in Israel, where she went days before bombing. She was found in 2017 in a small French village, still unrepentant, and has never been prosecuted and never will be. The 2 combatant frogmen have never been found. Most of those involved in what happened that night in Auckland Harbour simply disappeared. Although this act was not committed against New Zealand, but an organisation itself, most New Zealanders did not make a distinction. The fact it was committed on New Zealand territory by a country that was supposed to be a friend provided a sense of outrage and seriously deteriorated the relations between New Zealand and France. Both countries reacted to each other with embargoes and boycotts, actually allowing the United Nations to mediate the settlement. New Zealand got a formed apology, trade undertakings, and $13 million in compensation. Other compensations to Fernando's family and also Greenpeace. After the bombing, the ship was given a resting place at Matauri Bay in New Zealand's Cavalli Islands, where it has become a living reef, attracting marine life and recreational divers. Greenpeace then replaced her with Rainbow Warrior 2. For 22 years, that boat campaigned for a greater peaceful future. In 2011, the new Rainbow Warrior 3, the world's first purpose-built environmental campaigning ship, readied herself to carry on the original spirit of the Rainbow Warrior, its spirit that will always live on.